I'm kind of a paranoid person, and I always think about the worst things that can happen in situations. And, you know, you hear a sound in the middle of the night, you go out in the living room, everybody's done it, whether it's your girlfriend sends you out there, your wife sends you out there, or you go out there. And it was just about that idea of what would happen if somebody was there, and how would you react in that moment when you realized that it wasn't your suspicions, it was actually somebody.
I was on a plane flying from Japan to Los Angeles, and I had this little stack of 4 scripts to read, and I just flipped through them, and I got to The Strangers, and I thought, oh, this should be good. I don't know why I thought it was gonna be a comedy. I was like, The Apartment. I had no idea, nobody told me anything about it, and just immediately from the first 2 pages, I was just completely riveted.
Hello?
Can you hear me? Hello?
The characters were written so beautifully. There was so much depth to Kristen and James and their relationship. I was drawn to that story, and then the terror that they go through was just unimaginable.
It's this massive psychological style thriller horror that's simple.
I guess it's the idea that it could happen to anybody, you know?
I've had weird things happen in my house, and it's terrifying. So I think all of us can sort of identify with that in a sense, about a noise in the basement. You think someone's down there, and this time somebody is down there. No one out here. Nobody, come here.
It will make everybody second guess what they're going to do when their doorbell rings, when their door gets a knock on it. And it makes you realize that people do the craziest things without any rational thought.
You want me to go talk to her?
They don't want to talk.
When they want something, people just don't stand out there staring at us like that.
So many movies and so many stories kind of come about, especially horror films, with characters that don't know each other that are brought together. But for me, there was something interesting about characters that have been together, that know each other, and tension between them could work with the tension that the strangers would bring into that situation, and vice versa.
I'm so sorry it wasn't the way you thought it would be.
I've never been in a film before where it was just me and another actor in every scene together. It's really a challenge. I mean, it's just the 2 of us, you know, so I've never worked so hard or so closely with another actor.
I had the luxury of knowing that it was her when I went in an audition, so you knew that if she was doing it, it was going to be pretty good. And even when we have sort of bad takes or takes that aren't great, you can go watch the monitor and there's still something a little going on. It's not just blank. Then open the door and I just want you to run, okay?
Well, it's just been by far the hardest film I've ever been a part of, not just physically, but emotionally. And, you know, usually in a film you have a couple emotional scenes, if that, that you're dreading getting to, and it just zaps everything out of you just to get through that one day. And this has been 2 months of that every single day. I didn't even know I really had it in me, especially after having a baby and being a mom, and you think like, oh, I'm so old now. You know, it's just really interesting to see your own strength.
I know there's somebody out there.
I saw a man at the back door, and he's wearing a mask.
What do you mean, like a ski mask? What?
I don't know, fucking mask!
There's something about not being able to see who's coming after you, not being able to see the faces. When we walk into a room, we judge the people around us. We look at their eyes, we look at their features, we try to decide if they're friend or foe. And if you take away those things, it makes you inherently kind of vulnerable to those people.
What do you want?
Pinup and Dollface, they almost look like you could buy their masks at any dime store in any small town. Just a small plastic Halloween mask where anybody could have it. And then for me, my mask is made out of cotton, and it's almost like a burlap sack that just fits over, where again,
Action.
anybody could go into their barn or into their kitchen and find something and sew it together and make it. And again, that makes it that much more scarier because it's feasible to anybody and accessible to anybody.
Maybe it's the juxtaposition between what they're doing and what their masks are. It just kind of puts you in a place of, I don't understand this. Like, what is the meaning of this? So your mind is searching for the meaning of it. And that's what makes it so disturbing, is that you can't come up with anything.
Why are you doing this to us?
I think it's difficult for them. It's definitely hard because You know, so much of acting in films is in your eyes.
You're gonna die. It is difficult, but it's also kind of freeing in a way. It becomes so much more menacing. It's interesting to kind of feed off the reaction from having a mask on.
I'm still feeling the same things behind the mask. I mean, I guess it's challenging for Liv, although I think it's terrifying for her not to be able to see any emotion on my face.
The way you convey character is by your movement, by your posture, the way you look out of the holes that you're given to view out of it. You know, you can convey every emotion you need.
I think I was really fortunate that this isn't 1972 where the guy that was playing Leatherface was just like a guy from the crew or something. This was about trying to build that character that would never be on screen, so that those things were always going on behind the mask.
Laura, kind of move around more. You can move around, it's okay.
Okay.
Okay?
Using the flashlight?
Using the flashlight.
I turned 29 just before I started the movie, and he was still 28 at the time, and I thought, oh my God, I'm really getting old. I can't believe I'm about to work with a director who's younger than I am.
Let's do one where your face is more towards camera, totally passed out, and then let's do the last one where you'll put a little bit more fight into it. That way gives me 3 different options.
This is the beginning of his career. He's never really directed before, and he's written some amazing things. He really has this incredible understanding of everything as a whole, the broad picture of not only our characters, but also the strangers.
He's been great. I mean, especially with the heavier emotional stuff and setting it up and not shooting it all day and having 2 cameras going and capturing those moments that are so heightened that it's, you're not having to repeat things over and over and over again, and then it doesn't get stale. I know. I'm sorry.
The director side of me sometimes argued with the writer side of me. I'd never directed a movie before, and so to be able to fall back on the story in moments where I was facing a challenge as a director I'd never faced before, the key that kind of held everything together is I knew where I wanted the story to go.
I'm sure some people would want to put more blood and guts, or people would want more of a resolution in some way, like more of a reason, but Bryan knows that that's the charm of this film, so didn't want to touch it. Why are you doing this to us? Because you were home.
And to me, perspective is really important in horror, and I wanted to try to do something where it's like you're dealing with it as they're dealing with it. And so I think there's reasons that this thing can happen, just as there's reasons lots of crimes can happen, but to the victims, you don't always know those things.
It's fun to sit and talk about why these characters are in this place and why they're doing the things they're doing.
I think what motivates the strangers is hopelessness and alienation. I think that they're motivated by trying to have power and control when in their lives they don't.
There is something appealing about them. They're not little boys in closets, you know, they're not supernatural. They're just people, man.
Is Tamara here?
They just decided to kill some people for whatever reason, whatever deranged reason went on in their head. They thought they'd get kicks out of it or something. No, you got the wrong house.
You sure?
I don't think they get caught, no. I don't. I don't know why I would say that. I guess because I like to think that they won't.
I don't want them to get caught. Nah, they get away, they do it again a couple months down the road.
You don't want them to get caught because you don't want people to think there was an end to this story. You don't want people to think that evil was overtaken by good, that it had a start, a middle, and an end, because this story doesn't have an end. The people need to leave this film knowing that this is possible to happen to anybody in any town in America.
I didn't coin the phrase, but I've heard it explained by someone on the show, and it makes a lot of sense. I think this is more of a terror film as opposed to horror. I think it's an absolutely new approach to the genre.
And roll.
Rolling.
That's speed.
Action.
In your classic kind of sense of a horror film, you often envision the house on the hill, or you're standing back and you're seeing this place from the outside.
Marker.
This story is very much, I think, reversed. It takes place inside the house, looking out. Bertino built the architecture of the movie into the screenplay. I could tell what kind of house he had written this for. I could tell which way the hallway turned and where the bedrooms were and where the kitchen. He had a very visual sense. One of the very first discussions were that it would be a ranch house built in the 70s.
To me, it was about trying to ground the movie as much as possible so that the audience would believe that world. And so we tried to find a house that your brother could have lived in, or your father could have lived in, you could have grown up in. And the way we lit it, the colors we picked were all trying to find something comforting, trying to find something inviting so that we could destroy that.
It needed a metal barn. That's what was written in the script. And the barn needed to be here, and the house needed to be a certain distance from the road. And we needed the front door here and the garage here. There was a lot of elements that was written. And it was interesting enough to pull up in front of this house and hit the brakes and go, that's it. The barn's where it needs to be. The house is where it needs to be. The trees are almost characters in themselves. So we were very fortunate in that. And I think it certainly did help propel the design of the show.
The inside of this house is really small, definitely not enough room to shoot a movie in, and so we found a warehouse nearby, built the interior to just how we imagined it to be.
The entire thing need to be flexible. All the walls need to move. We have to be able to allow the camera to go anywhere it needs to go. So the entire set is collapsible.
This is a very live room. It's 600 feet by 235 feet, nothing but concrete. So when you hear when they slam the door, it echoes for about 15 seconds of decay time before it stops. So that's creating great challenges for the editorial team. When they scream, it really reverberates. As long as there isn't another dialogue on top of the scream, they can deal with it.
I had never really screamed before or been in a situation of fear. Like, I had never been home alone and heard something that was so scary where I actually screamed or went to get a knife and went to look. Like, I've actually never experienced that before. So we've been shooting in order, and suddenly James was gone, and there I was, and going with the knife towards the back door to the man in the mask, and I sort of screamed. And I was so nervous. I wanted to die because I had no idea what was going to come out of my mouth. I thought it was going to be like nothing. And this huge, ginormous scream came out. I think I terrorized everybody, was really scared, but now they're used to it. It doesn't work anymore.
The PA department spent, half their time banging on things and running around the set because we'd built the entire house and we wanted it to feel like if she hears something out in the backyard, then there's something in the backyard. And so she was able to react to it on a real level. And sometimes we'd throw things in a completely different direction just to get that surprise that was on her face, because if you know a scare's coming, it's not always as scary. And so, we worked as hard as we could to get those screams to be as real as possible, sometimes by throwing her curveballs and coming at her in ways that she didn't expect. Turn again, Liv.
Can you do the noise?
Yeah, we're gonna do a noise again.
The director, Bryan Bertino, came up and said, we really like to give some motivational sounds, not just music, because there's lots of awesome music in this, but some sound effects, chimes, wind chimes, the alarm going off, this kind of stuff, and loud. He wants the reaction to it, because it's stark, it's startling when you hear it. 41 Gringo, take one. So I called a friend of mine to do all the pre-records for me, and he sent them out. We dumped them over to mini disc so we can play them anything at the drop of a hat. We can do both music, the sound effects, whatever, and even do a mix and match. So it's fun for me because there isn't a lot of dialogue in this, but it's also a little extra work. But we're on the stage most of the time, so it's very laid back, easy going, and Liv has just completely risen to this place that I don't know if anybody wants to go voluntarily, to this terrified place. So it's been really cool.
I thought it would be more emotionally draining on me than physical, and it's actually been the opposite of that.
Oh my God, it really hurt myself.
Mentally, I'm okay, and I'm sort of trucking through, and I'm actually loving it and excited about it, but my body's just a mess. I have like all these burns and sores from rubbing against the floor.
She just took a beating, but kept fighting, and I think that it helped her character because the more pain that, you know, on some level she felt, I think it was easier to connect into what Kristen was probably going through.
I probably run like over a mile a day on set. Just before every take, I have to like go out and do my laps. They're like, okay, we're running. And then they wait until the last second and they call rolling and we kind of like run in just to get out of breath and be sweaty and have that kind of, that energy. Because you can't just go from sitting here talking now to being that terrified.
Feel good about blooding?
Feel great. Let's do it.
All right, let's blood.
Blooding Glenn, blooding the floor.
Vinny, our makeup artist, who is unbelievable, has done the prosthetic that goes on my face a couple of times, and he's got different prosthetics. He's got one that's the fresh kill prosthetic, which is meant to look like I just got shot.
Prosthetic starts right here, and it runs along around here. And then it goes behind the ear, because this is a fake ear. It looks like part of the ear was blown off, too. So when at the angle they shoot, you don't see that it comes out. It looks very much just like there's a hole right in his head. So it cheats it. It looks like he got point-blank shot, and then he's got some little shrapnel holes in it and everything, too.
The other one is the, as he likes to call it, the Mike is going bad prosthetic, which means I've been, you know, laying on the ground and dead for about an hour and a half, and I'm starting to literally go bad. Like my skin is starting to deteriorate a little bit. So it's pretty gory.
This side is flat against the floor. It looks like the blood is all pooling down towards the skin. So all this is losing its blood and drying up. Some of the skin is just starting to go bad and bruise, and all the blood is pooling at the lowest side of his face.
The process is basically Vinny puts on a prosthetic piece that was cut to match my face. I had a head cast done. Then he blends it so that it looks like the rest of my face. It takes about 3 hours to get it done. So it takes a little bit longer than you would almost think, but that's just because Vinny wants to do a really good job.
It's a good day. Ow. What a jerk.
The car crash we did last week, the two actors, Liv and Scott, I doubled them up with some stunt people. They're in the car, and Pinup's character drives up in this truck and turns out the light, and then all of a sudden the car is rammed by the truck, and we ended up doing it 3 different times. The first time we hit the car with the truck, we hit it about 15 miles an hour. And the second time we moved it up to about 25, and we wanted a little bit more damage. And the third time was about 20 miles an hour because the car had already been pretty much totaled and we just needed an in-car camera view of it. It was really a violent crash, and it's what we wanted.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
Thanks,
Pleasure, man. Great to meet you. Cool guy, man.
No.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
It looks amazing.
Good deal.
Go
Just
tell him.
better not end up on the cutting room floor.
No, that we can't.
The idea of entertaining people is really important to me, but I think you can do it in many different ways. Action. I hope that people are emotionally challenged by this movie and saddened and frightened and terrified but to me it's about connection. That's what I want. If I can connect with an audience so that they feel like that they went through this, that'll be the most important thing.
Sorry, this sucks. Okay.
Sure, Jared. And Sonny, you have to wear the dicky.
Come dance with me.
Not tonight. Not tonight.
I have to go get my things and
No,
say
just
goodbye
come with
to
me
get
right now. Hey.
Are you sick?
No, I'm not sick.
What's the matter? You wanna do this?
No more talking.
Do you hate me now?
I shouldn't have waited to ask you. I was just scared.
I don't know what I would have said if you'd asked me that. The day my mom died, my dad called, remember? It was Saturday and we were gonna go to lunch. And he called and I went into the bedroom and he told me. My dad was talking something about a plane ticket and I could hear the sound of his voice but not the words, you know? Just his voice. And then you came in and you put your arms around me and it felt so good. But I just don't know why I didn't call for you. Why didn't I need you?
I don't know. I don't know.
I keep trying to understand what happened tonight. You said I'd never understand what it was like to hear that. But you'll never understand what it was like to see your face. To see your face change like that.